Kripamurti Narayanam Sevakunja Vajaramya Govardhana Girosaram Radha Kundala Sananda Tattat Seva Pradayakam Gurum Narayanakyam Tam Vande Vinoda Prishtakam Yatpara Smriti Matrena Damodara Prasidati Vanchakalpadrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nityananda Namostubhyam Premananda Pradayine Kalo Kalmashanashaya Jannavapataye Namaha Namo Mahavananyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurattishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Bhaktya Vihina Paradhakshe Kshiptascha Kamarita Rangamadhye Kripamai Tvam Saranam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Vajhami Radham Aravindanetram Smarami Radham Madhurasmitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Varadram Tato Mamanyasti Gatir Nakapi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. First of all, offer my sister Nandavad pranams. Thousands of times Lord Siddha Shri Paramaraditam Guru Pada Padma Om Vishnu Pada Stotra Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Sai Maharaj Shri Gurudev. Secondly, offer my sister Nandavad pranams. Thousands of times Lord Siddha Shri Rupanuga Bodhi Guru Bhadaga. Offer my sister Nandavad pranams to all simple Vaishnava Vaishnavi. Today on the most auspicious occasion of Shri Guru Padavam's Kirubha Tithi and the Vyas Puja Tithi of Sri Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, we'll continue with our reading of Shri Guru Darshan. Chapter 13, Symptoms of a Sadhu. We heard how Gurudev was asking questions from Srila Narottam Brahmachari as he was preaching all over Bihar, Bengal, Orissa, all these places. Gurudev, being a police officer, was appointed to investigate and monitor the activities of sadhus. Because the British feared there may be some uprising, some conspiracy, the independence movement and things. So Gurudev was observing the satsanga of Srinath Ananda Brahmachari. But not only observing, but he was partaking. He was performing actual sadhusanga, hearing, chanting, and asking questions, inquiring. Narottam Brahmachari answered many of these questions. Why in the Mahamantra we start with chanting Hare Krishna instead of Hare Ram? And many other important questions. He asked also why that Krishna first Ram comes and Krishna comes, and why we give permanence to Krishna and Ram like this. And continuing here, symptoms of a sadhu. Shri Gurudev relished hearing from Shripad Narottam Prabhu, and greed arose in his heart to adopt a lifestyle dedicated to the practice of unalloyed devotional service. That person who has spiritual greed for pure love will have no desire for anything else. Honeybees and hummingbirds are attracted to the nectar of flowers, whereas vultures and jackals feed on carrion. Similarly, saintly men seek the nectar of unadulterated love, while the wicked-minded crave gross sense pleasure. When Srila Gurudev met with Narottam Prabhu, he remembered that as a boy he had come upon a yogi who had told him he would renounce family life after meeting with pure sadhus. He hence asked Sripad Narottam Prabhu about the nature of a genuine saintly person. What are the symptoms of a pure sadhu? Gurudev asked. Sripad Narottam Prabhu said, a bona fide sadhu is steady-minded and always absorbed in thoughts of God. Arjuna asked Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, O Keshava, what are the symptoms of a person whose intelligence is fixed in pure consciousness, Sthita Pragya? Krishna replies in 4 verses saying, O Bhakta, when a person gives up all material desires arising from the mind, and when with his mind thus controlled he becomes satisfied with the blissful nature of the self alone, he is to be known as a steady-minded sage. One who is not disturbed by the 3 types of distresses arising from the self, nature, and other living beings, who remains free from desires in the presence of happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called an equipoised, saintly person. So, given there in the Bhagavad Gita, Sthita Pragya Sakha Bhasha Samaristasya Keshava. And there all he says, Dukeshu Anubhiktamana Subhesha Vikhatas Viha Vita Bhaya Raga Krodha Sthita Dir Muni Kuchadev. All these have been described there by Krishna. One who is devoid of mundane affection and who neither rejoices in gain nor despairs in loss is known to have fixed intelligence. When a person can completely withdraw his senses from sense objects at will, just as a tortoise withdraws its limbs into its shell, his intelligence is firmly fixed. He who identifies himself with his body may artificially restrict his enjoyment by withdrawing the senses from the objects, but his taste for sense pleasure still remains. However, for one who has experienced a higher taste, in other words, realized the Supreme Soul, his taste for sense objects automatically ceases. This is like based on this verse, Prabhupada in the West, he coined this phrase. Simple living, higher taste. One who has a higher taste, then he has no desire for the lower things. This is a symptom of someone who is developing greed for bhakti. His taste for bhakti will increase and his detachment from everything else will increase simultaneously. Continuing, Narottam Prabhu said, worldly people have an intense desire to enjoy, and for this they lie, cheat, and sin in various ways. When sadhus are near such people, they mask themselves as foolish so as not to be disturbed by dealing with the wants of materialistic people. Internally, the sadhus are constantly absorbed in God's service, and when in favorable company, they manifest their service externally as well. And when they are in favorable company, they manifest their service externally as well. To properly understand sadhus, one must pray for the grace of God. By God's mercy, a person meets with a pure sadhu, and by that sadhu's mercy, he meets with God. So by Krishna's mercy, one achieves sadhu sangha. And by sadhu's mercy, then one achieves Krishna. Why he said that Vinu sadhu sangha vivekana Vinu sadhu sangha vivekana hoye Rama kripa vina sulabha. By the Lord's mercy, you will achieve this satsanga. By satsanga, you will achieve pure intelligence and the means to achieve the Lord. Arau Shraddha, Sadhu Sangata Bhajana Kriya. So by the combined mercy of Krishna and Guru, the one achieves his pure faith. Narottam Prabhu then quoted verses from scripture glorifying sadhus. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koy, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. All revealed scriptures proclaim that even a moment's association with a sadhu can grant one's perfection. Tulayama lavena pinasvarganna punarbhavam Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya Martyanam Ki Mudashisaha. Ascensions to the heavenly planets and liberation from material existence cannot be compared to even a moment's association with Krishna's pure devotee. What then can be said of material benedictions, which are for those who are meant for death? Sadhavo hridayam mahayam sadhanam hridayatvaham mad anyatena janati naham tevyam managapi. Lord Vishnu said, the sadhu is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of a sadhu. My devotees know nothing but me, and I know only them. Who spoke this? Vishnu is speaking to Durvasa after he had offended Ambarish Maharaj. Then he goes to Vaikuntha, and there Narayana, Vishnu speaks this to Durvasa Rishi. Narottamanda Prabhu concluded, he said, God is present in the hearts of sadhus. By associating with sadhus, attainment of God is guaranteed. This is true, Gurudev said. You are such a sadhu. Please bless me. I only follow in the footsteps of a pure sadhu. I am fortunate and joyful to have met you. Shri Guru Pada Padma has an ocean of love, Narottamanda Prabhu said. I am only distributing one drop of that nectar. O Prabhu, Gurudev said, please tell me, who is your Guru and where do you reside? I am the disciple of Paramarajatam Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. On his order, I travel to towns and villages, distributing the supreme glories of the Mahamantra in order to give permanent relief from all miseries to those suffering in material life. Now that my beloved Shri Guru Padma has re-entered the spiritual world, I am staying in the guidance of his intimate servant, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj. In the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti he founded. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj is a fearless preacher of the truth, who soundly defeats all doctrines opposed to devotion. Therefore he is known as Acharya Keshari, the lion-like preceptor. You should come and meet him. Our headquarters are in Navadvip Dham and Devananda Gaudiya Math. You are welcome to the temple at any time. Yes, I will certainly come, Srila Gurudev said. Please do, Narottamanda Prabhu said. If you do, I am sure you will become completely satisfied and blissful at heart. Living in the company of pure devotees completely satisfies the self, whereas staying with materialistic people causes only suffering. Worldly people are thirsty for sense enjoyment and are always busily engaged in acquiring material objects to satisfy their senses. As an animal may run far into the desert after the mirage of water without being satiated, people in this world have an intense desire to enjoy, but yet they are never satisfied. Pure devotees worship Krishna empowered with divine love from Srimati Radharani, and they spread the process of attaining this love and completely satisfying the self to the people of this world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu adventured to drown the world with this love. Srila Gurudev spoke with Sripad Narottamanda Prabhu every evening after the preacher's public discourses. At the conclusion of the final day, Gurudev and Narottamanda Prabhu bade each other farewell. Gurudev said, I am fortunate to have met you. I hope to spend some more time with you soon. I consider myself favored to have met you, Narottamanda Prabhu said. It is rare to find someone who has agreed for pure bhakti. You are qualified and blessed. I am confident you will soon come and join our preaching. Now Gurudev has met with Narottamanda Prabhu. Now he has no other desire but to do bhakti. Strong desire, everything else seems now void for him. He's only thinking one thing: how can I be with these sadhus? How can I follow this path? This is Gurudev's Naravad Lila, showing the pastime of being a sadhak, coming in contact with sadhu. This is the true effect of sadhu sangha. How can this be? Gurudev thought. I am from a Brahmin family and have a high government post. How will I beg door to door? Srila Gurudev bowed down to the devotees and then departed. He thought of Narottamanda Prabhu's advice and steadily his greed to meet Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj increased. Spiritual attraction has great power. Worldly people warn, stay at least 100 yards away from sadhus, for they will destroy your family life and ruin your taste in this world. Wherever the sadhu goes, he transforms others into sadhus. Therefore, if you value your present life, avoid them at all costs. Upon returning to Navadip Dham, Sripad Narottam told Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj about Gurudev, saying, we met a police officer named Narayana. He is a learned Brahmana, eager to dedicate himself to spiritual life. Hearing about you, he desired to come for your darshan. Pleased to hear this, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj spoke with certainty, he will come soon. Chapter 14, Portents of Departure. Upon meeting with Vaishnavas from the Gaudiya Sampradaya, Srila Gurudev's heart became increasingly attracted to the transcendental path. He began to daily chant 1 lakh of Harinam, 100,000 holy names, and lost all taste for work and family life. Having become detached from worldly life, he considered resigning from his post as a police inspector, and leaving home to join the mart of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. He hasn't even met Param Gurudev, but already he's thinking how I will leave house and go meet with him. Often he remembered the prediction of the yogi in the forest. Wherever he went, what was that prediction? That he'll become a great sadhu, he will not stay at home and he'll move here and there around the world, helping others. Sometimes some predictions, like astrology or anything, seeing the chart of any person, they may give some indication, this person will become a sadhu, he will not stay at home, like this, that. Wherever he went, he chanted the names of Gaur, Nitai and Radha Krishna. So Buddha had asked also Narayana Brahmachari. We have Krishna and we have Ram and Lakshman, but who is this Gaur Nitai? Are they the same? What is the tattva? And Narayana Brahmachari had explained the tattva regarding Gaur Nitai. Brajandanandana Jai Sachi Sula Hoilo se Balaram Hoilo Nitai. So now Gurudev is not only, before he was only chanting Ram now he's chanting the name of Gaur Nitai and Radha Krishna. While eagerly awaiting an opportunity to go to Navadvip, he remained busily engaged in his official duties. Srila Gurudev's central office was in Patna, the state capital of Bihar. Gurudev's village is not far from Patna actually. Tivaripur is near Patna actually. Same district. From there he was posted on various assignments. It was once announced that a British viceroy from Calcutta was on his way to the headquarters in Patna to retrieve an important file required for a decisive case in England. The case had originally been filed in India but had been since transferred to England. All the officers were afraid because it was a 15-year-old file that no one could find. The viceroy had a reputation for being merciless. He would suspend, fire, or punish any government worker that made a slight mistake. The Patna officers went to Srila Gurudev for help. Oh Tiwari ji, we know that you are an inspector and are busy out in the field most of the time, but please help us find a crucial file. The viceroy is coming and we will be punished if it cannot be found. There are countless files in the cabinets and we don't have a clue where it might be. The file is not in my department, Gurudev said. How will I be able to find it? Just please come and help. It will boost everyone's spirits. Distressed and pale with worry, the police officers stared desperately at Gurudev. At that time, Gurudev was chanting in his office and said, first I must complete this round of Harinam, then I will come. The officers consented and soon Gurudev put away his beads and entered the large hall where the files were stored. He said to his co-workers, have you no faith in Bhagavan? Why are you scared and hiding like a mice in a cave? Chant with me, Jai Sitaram, Jai Sitaram. So if you know the way they store files here in India is every single paper they do, they'll put it in a folder and they'll tie it up. And those folders they'll stack up over the years. And they'll keep them in some almaris and they'll keep them in some warehouse. These files are like, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Like, they don't even, never open these files half the time and they're just piling up. Whole warehouse full of folders and files will be there. Who knows how it is marked, how it is categorized, nothing. You just throw it in there. The mice will come and eat even, they don't even that file exists, there's no guarantee. Now, they need to find this file, now they're asking Gurudev. Guru said, chant. Everyone started to chant and pray to Lord Ram. The Viceroy was due to arrive without notice. So Srila Gurudev's colleagues pleaded, your love and faith in Ram is so powerful. Pray to Ram for help in finding the fire. We will be suspended or even sent to jail if we can't find it. Please save us. Persistently requested, Gurudev agreed and assured his co-workers, I will find this file you are so worried about. I will close my eyes and walk to a cabinet. By Ram's power, the first drawer I open and the very first file I touch will be the one you are searching for. Closing his eyes, Gurudev spun around and then walked straight ahead with an outstretched arm while chanting Jai Sitaram, Jai Sitaram. All the officers walked behind, chanting along with him. When he came to a nearby cabinet, Gurudev opened it and pulled out the file. He opened his eyes and showed the file to the officers. Is this it? He asked. They examined the file. Yes, this is it. They shouted in amazement. The officers were ecstatic and embraced Gurudev, saying, we searched for this file for days and had almost given up hope, but now you have saved us. The Viceroy soon arrived with his convoy. Out of fear, no one dared approach to speak with him. Gurudev wore the white suit of British officials. He was tall, strong and handsome, with blue eyes like a Westerner. Because of his respectable appearance, the Indian officers urged Gurudev to present the file. He met the Viceroy and they shook hands. The Viceroy asked him some questions and Gurudev confidently replied. The Viceroy saw that Srila Gurudev was intelligent and fearless. He said, I have heard about you. Word has it you do fine work. The British Viceroy gave Srila Gurudev a promotion, making him one of the top officers in Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Disheartened, Gurudev thought, I don't want any promotion from foreigners controlling my country. It's like when when Sita was kidnapped, then Hanuman came and he found Sita for Ram. So especially if you lose anything, then you remember Hanuman, you remember Sita and Ram. By that mercy, that object, that thing will be found. This is like tradition. You pray to Hanuman, then Hanuman will find that thing which you have lost very easily. Now, Srila Gurudev is thinking, oh, they promoted me into such a high position, but I don't want promotion, especially not from any Britisher. At that time, Gandhi and Subhash Chandra Bose were in revolt against British imperialism. People throughout India were agitated. Gandhi initiated a boycott on commercial salt and British cloth. Indians all over the country refused to use goods controlled by the British. They took salt directly from the ocean or caves and wore only cotton clothes they made using the traditional Indian handloom system. So this was the independence of India. It was a time of great disturbance and great suffering. This was going tit for tat. The British fighting against the Indians fighting against the British. Soon after getting promoted, Srila Gurudev was ordered to go incognito to discover a group of Indian rebels who were using guerrilla warfare to attack British soldiers and government buildings. This is all Subhash Chandra Bose's movement. Gandhi was like non-violent, only talking, and through his politics he was trying to create independence. But it was Subhash Chandra Bose, his freedom fighters of Bengal. They inspired this youth movement all over India. They are the ones who are organizing these things. Even in Paranguri, that he joined this movement. Swami Maharaj, he was also a supporter. They all supported in order to get India independent from the British. Gurudev's superintendent gave him the details of the case and told him, find the whereabouts of these terrorists. When you locate them, report to us and we will send officers to arrest them. Srila Gurudev was not interested in acting against his own countrymen and inwardly decided not to participate in this raid, even if it resulted in his own imprisonment. Self-determined, he remained at home for 1 week, praying to Krishna and Ram to become free from material entanglement. Detachment from worldly life had arisen in his heart since his meetings with the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Gurudev returned to the police headquarters after his 7-day absence, desiring to resign from his post as an inspector and anticipating severe chastisement. To his surprise, the lieutenant congratulated him. Great job, the operation has been a success and the criminals are in custody. Puzzled to hear this, Gurudev said, actually I came to give in my resignation papers. The lieutenant laughed in surprise. Why would you want to resign? You perform your work so well. You are an asset to the force. I will not accept your resignation. Srila Gurudev meditated on the wonderful nature of divine play and considered the miracle to be another sign that he should leave all material duties and dedicate his life to the service of Bhagavan. Previously we had heard the first time when Gurudev he began chanting and being absorbed, then he had forgot to perform his night, he had forgot to show up or check in for his night duty. But in the morning when he came, the officer congratulated him and said, I'm noticing everyone else sleeping in there during this evening duty and they are not performing their duty very well, but you are very diligent, moving here and there and doing your duties very nicely. The second thing was when he found the file. Then he saw that by the power of the holy name, a very difficult thing became very easy. And now thirdly, even though he had been neglecting his duty to investigate this during this operation of this guerrilla, of these rebels, but they did not reprimand him, but they were very pleased with his work. So now he's thinking, these are all signs. Krishna is arranging everything for me. In Gita 9:22, Krishna says, for those who are always absorbed in thoughts of me and worship me with one-pointed devotion, I myself carry their necessities and preserve what they have. Anayas chintayantamam ye jana parvibhasate tesha nitya vayuktanam yogakshema bahmyam. Yogakshema means maintenance of one's life. Bahmyam, Krishna says, I myself will carry it, bring that. For who anayas chintayantam, one who is one-pointedly ananya, who is performing ananya chitta, one-pointed meditation and thought of me. Since the British administration would not accept his resignation, Srila Gurudev continued to engage in his duties as an inspector, travelling on assignments in Bihar, Bengal and Orissa. Meanwhile, visits home decreased and his family members became despondent. Gurudev performed his duties carefully, but his mind was always absorbed in Gaur Nitai and Navadvip. His taste for the Ramayana diminished and his desire to read about the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu increased. It was as if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu were pulling him to Navadvip Dham, calling, why are you still at home? Come soon. On a visit to Tiwaripur, Gurudev met the Gaudiya Vaishnava mendicant from Vrindavan. Gurudev spoke with him about Mahaprabhu and revealed his desire to read about his life. The Vaishnavas showed Gurudev a set of 5 Hindi books on the life of Mahaprabhu entitled Chaitanya Lilamrita Lahari and offered them to Gurudev. Gurudev was elated and gave the Vaishnava a large donation for the books. Pleased with Gurudev's sincerity and service tendency, the Vaishnava invited him to Vrindavan before departing on his missionary journey. Some days later, a letter drafted in English arrived for Srila Gurudev from Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. The letter was addressed, Dearest Narayana. Srila Gurudev was astonished. He has called me dearest. He pored over the letter, relishing every word. In his reply, he addressed Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. In his reply, he addressed Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Dear Gurudev. Reading this, Acharya Kesari was also surprised. He is calling me Gurudev. He then sent him a reply with an invitation to come to Navadip Dham, Parikrama, an annual pilgrimage in the Navadip area for the week preceding the event of Mahaprabhu. Gurudev thought, alas, how can I leave? The government will not allow it. It was 1946, and India was in storm of revolution and partition as she emancipated herself from centuries of British regime. Srila Gurudev was distressed because the same British government, which sat idly behind secure royal compounds, while deep divisions spread throughout the land, was now ordering him to thwart the insurrection. With a heavy heart, Gurudev took leave from work and returned home. His family worried, what will happen to us if Srimad Narayana disobeys the government? But Dhyan Chandra Tiwari, pleased with his grandson, said, what is the value of fighting against our own country? It will be better to join the revolution and die for a good cause than to defend atrocious principles. So that was a sentiment prominent then in India. Everyone was already had enough. No more. We need independence. Srila Gurudev's superior came to Tiwaripur and entreated him to return to work, offering an even higher post and pay. Gurudev said he would consider the offer, but at heart he was contemplating the best way to escape material entanglement while praying to Mahaprabhu for deliverance. To his delight, a message arrived from Acharya Kesari saying, my dear Narayan Tiwarji, why are you attached to samsara? Do you think this will bring you any happiness? Will any of your family or wealth go with you at the time of death? We are concerned for you. Quickly leave everything and come to Navadip. When someone has desire or an inclination for bhakti, that time that person should be encouraged to encouraged on the path of renunciation. If you tell them, oh no, you stay where you are, this, that, then it will be difficult for them to take that step. But if you would tell them, no, leave everything, come, then if their sukriti is right, they have a deep desire, then they'll take that extra step. Rupa Goswami had once written a letter to his imprisoned brother, Sanatana Goswami, encouraging him to leave Ramkeli to come to Vrindavan. In the letter he wrote, Yadupate kwa gata mathura puri, Raghupate kwa gatottara koshala, iti vichintya kurusva manastiram nasat idam jagat it avadharayam. Where has Yadupati's Mathura Puri gone? Where now is Raghupati's northern Koshala? By reflection, make the mind steady, thinking this world will not last forever. Where is those great dynasties, great cities, such as Mathura, Ayodhya? Where have all the Yadus, Krishna associates, all Ram's associates, where have they all gone? They were so powerful, but yet what is remained? Nothing. Therefore, what is the nature of this world? Very temporary. Great empires rise and fall in the blink of an eye. And they are forgotten. In other words, everything is temporary. Don't waste your time here. This world is an ocean of suffering. Everyone is just surviving, struggling just to survive, trying to minimize their suffering somehow or other. And as you get older, your suffering only increases. And then it's just the uphill struggle, how to somehow minimize. Everyone's struggling in this way. So many uncertainties, so many difficulties, problems. In a similar fashion, Acharya Kesari wrote to Gurudev calling him to Navadvip. He included the following two verses. Nityardidena vittena durlaben atma mrityuna grihapatyapta pashubhika priti saritais chalai. 11th canto of Bhagavad says, wealth is an unending source of distress. It is challenging to acquire, it is essentially death for the soul. What fulfillment does one actually gain from his wealth? Similarly, how can one gain ultimate or enduring happiness from one's supposed home, children, relatives, and domestic animals, which are all sustained by one's hard-earned money? So this artha, this wealth, is a killer of the soul. You spend your whole life trying to accumulate artha. In all stages, it is full of misery. When you don't have wealth, then you're always hankering, desiring for it. How can I get money? How can I achieve it? Then when you have wealth, then you're thinking always, okay, how will I protect it? How will I secure this wealth? How will I make sure that my wealth, my income is steady? How will I secure it? And then when you lose your wealth and you spend your wealth, then you lament, oh, where is my wealth gone? Hi. At all stages, that wealth is only problem, never giving any happiness. And it's very challenging to acquire. Hard work, then you can acquire some wealth. Nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sata. Upayor abhidristo antastva anyas tattva darsibhi. That which is subject to change is not eternal. It is transitory and therefore illusory. That which is real is neither fleeting nor subject to change. Seers of truth have concluded thus after careful examination. Reading the letter, Srila Gurudev was attracted by Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj's evident affection. He became determined to resign and leave home. It was the fall of 1946. Gurudev considered, I am doing all this service for the government, but it has no real value. I will distribute God's love to the world. At home, I am only serving a few family members, but in the ashram, I will be able to serve all people, giving them the means to attain supreme bliss. Orphans suffer because there is no one to take care of them. God is the loving parent of all souls, but we have forgotten Him and fallen under the sway of illusion. Thus, we look for happiness in temporary relationships with other bound souls. This kind of happiness is ultimately futile. Real love and happiness are only present with God. Srila Gurudev knew this truth from childhood. Having seen sadhus spreading pure love to the world, he was very pleased and became eager to join their mission. Pure sadhus do not merely distribute food, medicine, or cloth. This is indeed temporary. Sadhus give soul food, pure love of God. They don't distribute dhoti and roti, giving only cloth and medicine and food. But they distribute what? Prema. That night, Gurudev dreamt of Nityananda Prabhu, who caught his hand and said, don't worry, you will have no more obstacles. Come with me, don't stay here any longer. Srila Gurudev went to the headquarters the next day and again requested to be released from his government service. Why do you want to quit? The superintendent asked. You have a great future ahead of you. You are one of the top officers in Bihar. I will pursue other business, Srila Gurudev replied. What sort of business are you planning? A business of pure profit. The superintendent was amazed at the young man's determination to escape from his high post. He did not want to release him, but considered that if Narayana was so intent on leaving, forcing him to remain on board would only result in lackadaisical discharge of his duties. So after a repeated request, Srila Gurudev was finally dismissed from his allegiance to the regime. Realizing the blessings he had received from Krishna, Gurudev happily left his high government post and returned to Tivaripur for a few days, telling his family he was on leave of absence. He contemplated renouncing home to join the mission of Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj. It's the nature of this world. People are always trying to utilize others for their own happiness, for their own enjoyment. And therefore, if they are receiving some benefit from you, they don't want to lose that benefit. It's like you are a citizen of a certain nature and you try to renounce that country citizenship. Then the country will give you so many problems. Or don't renounce this, that. You are working in a high profile job, then the company is getting so much benefit, then they don't want to. They'll try to offer you more money, more. You're working for the military, whatever it may be. If they are getting some benefit from you, they will not. Even school, you're studying somewhere, the school will not even want to let you leave you. They'll think, why? If the student goes, then our graduation number will drop, our fees will drop, this, that. No, you complete it. Okay, you complete the next course, then you consider. Some Bhukar they will try to keep you there. So now finally, the Gurudev had received, they had accepted his resignation. Gurudev considered this a great blessing. Not so easy. Renunciation in this world is fraught with so many difficulties. One morning in the winter of 1946, Srila Gurudev left his house and walked down the road towards the Buxar train station. He sat under a tree 1 kilometer away from his home and contemplated whether he should leave home immediately. Undecided, he walked back to his house and continued the day as usual. He followed the same routine for a few days until one morning, while sitting under the tree as the darkness of night began to dissipate, he heard a voice from above. This is your final test. If you leave now for Bhagavad Bhajan, you will never return. But if you tarry longer, you will never escape the shackles of family life. Like if you want to renounce, then it has to be done with firm determination. If you try to make some compromise, then it will not be possible. Like if you have any disease in the body, you must take strong medicine and kill it. But if you think, it will cure by itself, that disease will linger in you, then it may spread even. Like Guru said, like cancer. He said, doubt is like cancer. If you don't treat it immediately, it will spread and destroy you. So renunciation should be done with conviction. If someone has true renunciation, he will not ask the question, should I renounce? But he will simply do. It's like when a fruit is ripe, then what happens? It automatically falls from the tree. You don't have to, the fruit does not ask permission from the tree, should I fall? When it's ripe, it automatically falls. Therefore now this area voice told Gurudev, now is your time. If you don't leave now, then you'll never be able to leave. Srila Gurudev left his home in Tivaripur before dawn and was due to arrive in Navadvip. Now we come to part 2 of volume 1. Chapter 15, Meeting his Divine Master. Srila Gurudev left his home in Tivaripur before dawn and was due to arrive in Navadvip, Bengal, late at night. He had not informed Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, otherwise known as Acharya Kesari or Acharya Dev, of his arrival. God's eternal associates have an unbreakable heart-to-heart relation, and hence it became apparent to Acharya Kesari that his beloved disciple would arrive soon. At 11 p.m. he called Sajjan Sevak Brahmachari, "O Sajjan, go to the railway station. Narayana Tiwari is coming. He is a tall police officer with a large moustache and is wearing a white suit. Take a lantern and bring him to the temple." "Yes, Guru Maharaj," Sajjan Sevak said. Sajjan Sevak went to the station and waited for the train to arrive. When it reached the station, he called out through the big crowd of people, "Tiwari-ji, who is Tiwari-ji?" Trains were fairly new in those days and did not run so often. Many villagers travelled on the trains out of curiosity, and thus there was a large crowd disembarking. The only light at the station came from square kerosene lamps burning at intervals. Carrying only a few possessions in an attache case, Srila Gurudev disembarked and went to the office to ask the authorities how to find Devananda Gauriya. Now when it was full of temples and he could go in circles before finding the right one in the dark. Sajjan Sevak walked up and down the station platform calling, Tiwariji, who is Tiwariji? Tiwariji. Hearing his name, Srila Gurudev came out of the station office and noticed Sajjan Sevak. I am Tiwariji, how do you know my name? He asked. Sajjan Sevak looked at Srila Gurudev with wonder. He was tall with a golden complexion, beautiful blue eyes, a large moustache, and was wearing a spotless white suit. My Guru Maharaj sent me to bring you to our temple, Sajjan Sevak explained. Who is your Guru Maharaj? Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Gurudev was amazed. How did he know I was coming? I sent no letter announcing my arrival. Guru Maharaj knows past, present and future. He told me you were coming and to bring you to the temple. Since Navadip is a large town, it is late. Holding forth a lantern, Sajjan Sevak then led Srila Gurudev to Devananda Gauriya. Acharya Kesari had stayed away and was pacing outside his room waiting to meet Narayana Tiwari. Upon arriving, Srila Gurudev prostrated himself before Acharya Kesari, who lifted him up and embraced him. Acharya Kesari was tall, endowed with a grave temperament, and his body was golden and soft like butter. Srila Gurudev was also strong and grave, but upon seeing each other, their hearts melted with affection and both began weeping, as if they were meeting their dearest relative after thousands of years. The relationship between a pure Guru and a pure disciple is like this. The soul reincarnates from one physical body to another, and although the relationship between kinfolk is temporary, the connection between Sri Guru and his disciple is eternal. Those attached to worldly relations cannot overcome the material nature and become connected to the spiritual potency. Hence, they cannot comprehend that the love and affection between transcendental personalities and the suffering they feel in each other's absence. Acharya Kesari was Nishkinchan, Akinchan, without any material desires or possessions, and hence the ashram situation was modest and simple. Only few rooms were in the temple at that time: the deity room, storeroom, Acharya Kesari's room, and a room for the senior disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, who resided in the temple. The Brahmachari disciples of Acharya Kesari, such as Sajjan Sevak Brahmachari and Radhanath, who humbly stayed on the veranda. Why not so much facility? Wherever they can, they stay. It's like when you go, Devananda Gauriya doing Navadip Parikrama. They put you in a room, and there's no room, then you sleep on the balcony. That's how it was. Everyone was just sleeping wherever they could. They find a place to put them at. And for 1 week doing Parikrama. Gurudev, he joined at that time, was saying, no rooms there, nothing. And now we have private rooms, we have another private room with inverter, AC, geyser, all facilities. But the more your bhoga increases, then the more you become attached to serving the body and less attached to engaging in sadhana bhakti. Acharya Kesari took Srila Gurudev to his room and gave him a seat, Mahaprasad, and a place to sleep next to his bed. They then spoke for some time before resting. Growing up in Bihar, Gurudev had met with many sadhus and inquired from them about spiritual truths. Yet he was never fully satisfied with those he met. He searched to find a pure devotee, but always found something to be desired. However, when he met Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he was immediately attracted by the power of his devotion and naturally surrendered his heart to him. Early the next morning, Gurudev woke and offered obeisance to Acharya Kesari, who smiled and said, "You have arrived in the holy abode of Navadip, the place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. To attain the mercy of the Dham, holy abode of the Lord, you must worship and offer respects to Ganga Devi. Let us go there together." Along the way, Acharya Kesari described the glories of the Ganga as she flowed through Navadip Dham. Ganga Devi is hallowed water flowing from the venerated footpath of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. She descended to the earthly realm from the heavenly abode by the appeals of King Bhagirath, who begged for her to come deliver his forefathers. In order to decelerate the force of her current and prevent her waters from shattering the earth, she descended through the matted locks of Lord Shiva at Gangotri in Uttarakhand, from where her waters still swim. As she flows through India, she circumambulates the 9 islands in Gaudamanda, known as Navadip Dham, with no desire to reach the ocean. Bhagavad described actually Ganga. This Alakananda Mandikini from Svarga, from the heavenly planets, it falls down where? Onto the head of Mount Meru. Mount Meru is described to be 800,000 miles in height and it is shaped in the form of an inverted cone. So basically you take this Mridanga and you flip it the other way around. Thin on the bottom but big on the top. So Ganga falls on the top of that Mount Meru, which is where in the very center of Jambudvip. That is Ilavrita Varsh. And that Ganga, when it falls on top of Mount Meru, it flows in 4 directions and it falls off the sides of Mount Meru and it comes down then to these different varshas, to this Ilavrita Varsh. From there it flows into all the different varshas. Then one stream of that Ganga flows to Bharat Varsh. On top of that Mount Meru, Indra and the principal demigod, they have their own palaces and residences there also. So when she is falling down, she is descending, that time Lord Shiva, he catches Ganga in his matted locks because she would come down with such a force to destroy Prithvi. As she flows through India, she circumambulates the 9 islands in Gaudamanda, known as Navadip Dham, with no desire to reach the ocean. Why she doesn't want to leave Mahaprabhu's pastime places. King Bhagirath petitioned her, please come to the ocean. I shall not leave Navadip, she said. These 9 islands are the abodes of my dear friends, the embodiments of Bhakti Devi, Srimati Radharani and her 8 Sakhis, girlfriends. Varun Dev, the personification of the ocean, then came and requested her, the ocean will not be purified of contamination unless you flow there. I need your mercy. If you do not come, I shall come to Navadip to meet with you. When Ganga Devi resisted leaving Navadip, the ocean swelled and flooded the land, drawing close to Navadip. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva and the prominent demigods came and requested Ganga Devi to mercifully bestow a portion of her sacred water to the ocean. She knew that soon Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would descend with his associates and perform pastimes in Navadip Dham. Her cherished hope was that Mahaprabhu would play in her waters just as Krishna had done in the waters of her sister Yamuna. Lord Vishnu said, you may stay here and send only a portion of yourself to the ocean. That water will have collected the mercy and foot dust of the Braj Devi and will purify the sins that have accumulated in the sea. Ganga Devi agreed to give a portion of her water and the ocean receded. Upon reaching the banks of the Ganga at Manipur Ghat, where Mahaprabhu sometimes bathed, Acharya Kesari and Gurudev worshipped Ganga Devi with incense, a ghee lamp and flowers and respectfully bathed in her sacred water. Srila Kesava Goswami Maharaj said, all desires impeding devotion will be cleansed from the heart of one who worships and bathes in the Ganga here at Navadip while praying for her mercy. Moreover, that person will develop a close relation with the Dham. Therefore, she is known as Patita Pavani Ganga. She purifies everybody to remove those obstacles in the path of devotion and help you develop a deep relationship with Hari Guru Vaishnavas. We will finish here and we'll continue with our reading of Guru Darshan tomorrow. Today will now be Yagya also, Pushpanjali Archan and more Harikatha Kirtan. And Guru Prabhuji's Katha, this Brahmanet will also come. So the program will now run. We'll stop here. Gaur Bhavananda Hari 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 Bol Jai Shri Guru Pada Padma Ki की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय, सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि की जय, पार्षदा गौर हरि की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री गुरु पार्वती भक्ति महामहोत्सव की जय, श्री भक्तिवेदांत वामकुशल व्यास कुलगिरि महामहोत्सव की जय, इति पावनगरि भक्तिवृंद की जय, अनंत गौरी वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्याम भक्तिवृंद की जय, हिताय गौर प्रेमानंद।